Greetings once again, residents of Pietermaritzburg, and welcome to Msunduzi News Podcast. My name is Anile Makanya, and I'll be your host. Today we are hosting DMM Molapo, who is responsible for corporate services on the offices of legal services, secretariats, information and communications, which is the ICT of the municipality, and also human resources. DMM, greetings and welcome to Msunduzi News Podcast.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome, Anile. Greetings to the listeners and the viewers of this podcast. Thank you.
We are very pleased to have you today because I know that you are definitely going to tell us more about the responsibility that you hold in the Office of Corporate Services. Most importantly, the one which the residents of Pietermaritzburg are always interested in, which is human resource. Maybe, DMM, if you can tell us briefly on who you are and what you do, your responsibilities in your respective units, and yeah.
Thank you. It's a real privilege to be given this opportunity to explain what corporate services does, but also for me to say a little bit about myself. I have been in the department corporate services. Now this is my 11th year. I started in 2013. And the department, although we don't interface a lot with the community, as you have said, it's very important. It's the heartbeat of the municipality because all the support services which are essential for the municipality to work optimally are within corporate services. So as you have said in the introduction, we have legal services which supports the municipality, starting with the mayor, right through to the members of the executive and all council in terms of any legal issues that might arise in the municipality for which a council, because it's a legislative structure, does need to have that legal support. The MM, as well as the head of administration, needs to have at all times people who are legally savvy, who can advise him, because as you know, the municipality is driven on legislation. We've got the Structures Act, the Systems Act, and many others. Local government has got a lot of legislation. So it's important then for everyone who operates in the space of a municipality to have that backup, and then we have got, of course, the information communication technology. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution. We all want to be working with ICT so that digital. We can work. We are digital, exactly, so that we can work optimally. I mean, the main thing with digital, as you know, is that it optimizes the work that our forebearers used to do, and it took them long. It was laborious, but now with ICT, it makes us more efficient and effective. So we support the municipality in that regard to move us from maybe where we are now into the fourth industrial revolution. Yes. Then we also have the secretariat and auxiliary services, which is also very important because council and its structures, the portfolio committees and any other council bodies, they need to run effectively by way of their deliberations must be on record. Because we are a public body, so anything that is decided upon or resolved has to be on record, kept properly, and even members of the public then have access to these records.
That information,
exactly. So we have to make sure that we are keeping proper records, but also in preparing for the various meetings of council. So we have a very busy calendar of meetings. I think members of the public only get to know of council meetings because those ones are published in the newspaper. But leading up to the council meetings, the portfolios are sitting almost every week, and they have to be serviced. Then we have to keep to make minutes and then keep those records. Yes. Then lastly, I think the one that is interesting to people because it affects all of us, it's the human resources management section. This is our division which ensures that there is always a pipeline of human resources that are coming into the municipality, but that are also being maintained so that the municipality has these warm bodies who can discharge the service delivery mandate of the municipality. As you know, the IDP, in order for it to be operationalized, you need those warm bodies, which is the various people coming in with various skills, competencies, and qualifications. So we are the department that sees to it that happens optimally for the municipality.
That's really wonderful. And maybe I know that you are making a huge contribution towards the Vision 2030 of the municipality. It's Vision 2040 actually, where they say that they want to be the smart city. And with your ICT, I can assure the residents of Pietermaritzburg that you are definitely going to take the Msunduzi municipality to high level. And then also there is a point where on the HR parts, how do you do things? How does it happen? Because people have a knowledge that we want the municipality to employ us. And then when it comes to HR, how are the processes? What guides you as the HR department to make sure that niyabaqasha labantu abafisa ukuqashwa?
Thank you very much, Anele. First of all, as you know, in South Africa, every South African, that means any person who has got an identity of belonging to South Africa by way of birth or naturalization, then has a right to be employed in South Africa. But coming to Msunduzi municipality, we also have crafted our own employment policy, which emphasizes that fact that every resident who is a South African resident has a right to apply and therefore be employed and recruited into Msunduzi municipality. So our process is based on the policy. We have now a program every year where we have an intake of people who are coming in afresh. In other words, remember in a municipality there are people who also resign, retire, and move out of the organization, and there are processes where those gaps are filled in.
Must be filled.
Yes. But now to also make sure that other people coming from the community have the same opportunity, we have an annual process. For example, in the last 2 financial years, which is 2021-22 and then 22-23 up to this year now, which is 23-24. We've set aside in the previous 2 financial years, it was 70 million that was set aside to attract resources from outside, and then this financial year we've been allocated by the accounting officer 50 million.
Okay.
The process is that those positions are advertised. And I think you will have noticed that we've gone as far as putting out adverts not only in the newspapers, but Facebook, also on Facebook, on the website as well, so that we attract as many applicants as possible. So once that process has started, when the advert closes, then we start preparing internal processes of making sure that we are capturing those applicants, setting panels, because in a municipality, for fairness and for transparency, no one has a right individually to just go out and say, I can now appoint Anele, or I can appoint whoever.
That's true.
It's very important to know that we have an open and fair and transparent system. So once the panels are set up, then they will start the processes of shortlisting people who qualify based on the advert, because the advert will clarify exactly what the requirements are. Yes. And then the internal processes, then we assess applicants based on the requirements of the advert. Those that have met the criteria are then invited for interviews. And of course, we know that with employment, it's always the best man or the best woman who wins.
Who wins.
So then once those processes have unfolded, then we indicate who is the best person. I think it's important because you also raised the issue of the municipality needs to, in order to achieve its vision, it must professionalize.
Yes.
And the issue of professionalization, really, I think it cuts across all spheres of government.
That's
true. Where government has said, really, let's go for professionals, because the problems and the challenges that are out there really require people who can hit the ground running.
That's
but
true.
I want to also indicate to people who are listening that we are also alive to the fact that, on the one hand, this is now government policy that people who are fresh from school, in other words, so-called people who don't have experience must also be given the opportunity. And this is built into our policy as well, because there are certain positions where the high level of requirements, especially in terms of experience, not qualifications and competence, but experience. We are looking at actually relaxing that, so that we allow people who maybe are fresh from school to come in. But this will be a entry level positions, because you can understand that you can't, for example, have a municipal manager who doesn't have experience.
Exactly.
Just to use a very,
that's true.
A very clear example. So that's what we do, and I'm very happy with the fact that we've now upped the pace. So, for example, in the last 2 financial years, we've been able to fill these positions that were advertised, quite at a high percentage. But we're still striving now to improve upon that as well.
So DMM, when you are on those posts that were advertised last year, some other people had like a belief, or there was a rumor that the post has been frozen. There's nothing moving with those posts. Maybe now you are giving clarity to residents that you've started taking people who applied on those posts, and you are still taking, because you are not done with the interviews or with the internal processes. So people of Pietermaritzburg, be rest assured that if you have your application on those posts that were advertised, something is still going to happen. Maybe if you're in luck, and if you meet the requirements. It's not about luck. The municipality takes CVs and they have requirements that they want, as Mosa Molapo has just said.
Yes.
And then maybe in closing, I'm not sure if you would love to talk about the quality of the staff that you guys employ, and then the code of conduct. How do you apply the code of conduct to make sure that the employees of Msunduzi Municipality serves the people with the best services that they require?
Thank you very much for that question. And maybe to emphasize the earlier point where you were asking or assuring Umpagati that, especially the people of Pietermaritzburg, that indeed processes are still underway. And as I was saying as well, unfortunately with these positions, you may find that you've got one position, but your applicants are 100 or 200, 250 or more. So we really are quite alive also to, as a municipality, to the fact that abantu really need to work. And so the situation is always based on how much funding is available at any given time.
Okay.
And yes, there are no positions that were advertised that have been frozen. If what we also do strive all the time to do is that once a position has been concluded and there's an offer to a particular person, those that have not been successful are normally written regret letters.
Okay.
So that they also know that this process is now closed, and their opportunity will come again at a different point. Yes. Then on the how we ensure that the code of conduct is upheld. When people are finally accepted, as successful candidates, one of the things that comes with their package, so they will get a letter of offer. That letter of offer will be signed by the accounting officer, the MM. Then they will also, there's a section where they also sign in to accept that they are coming in as employees of Msunduzi. Then there's a third document which they also have to sign. They are taken through, and then they also have to sign. That's the code of conduct. Now, that code of conduct is basically, in Zulu, is bophezelo. In other words, you are committing that as an employee of the municipality, you will do as per the code of conduct
yes,
of employees that are working in local government. But we also orientate them further than that, other than the one-on-one sign off. There's also an induction.
Yeah.
We normally induct all new employees, again take them through what is expected of them. The last one that we had was actually addressed by the MM himself, to talk to employees to say, this is an opportunity that you are given, yes, to fulfill your own career needs and growth, yes, but remember that you are here to serve the community. Because I think all of us as public servants, we must understand that primarily we are here to serve, rather than to serve, to serve ourselves. Yes. So that is what we emphasize, and then even as management, because remember that employees then are allocated to specific departments. Yes, some might come to corporate services, but others will go. We've got 7 departments in the municipality, so ultimately some of them end up in the other departments. But in management meetings, we encourage that issue of conducting ourselves within the context of the code of conduct should be re-emphasized all the time. So it's actually something that you don't just read once and then file. It must be a matter of engagement and refreshment all the time. Now, in the departments, we have human resource managers as well. So the human resource managers also play the role of ensuring that any issues pertaining to the human resources or the people employed in the municipality are continually reinforced, and the support is given all the time to our employees. Yes.
So thank you so much, Molapo. We know that there are many managers like that you have in your units, and we will be inviting them to come and speak to the residents of Pietermaritzburg, because we understand that having an employee, you need to develop them mentally and all of that, which I believe that your unit is also dealing with, making sure that the staff is healthy mentally, and no financial issues with the staff. They are able to cooperate when they are in their respective duties. So thank you so much, residents of Pietermaritzburg, for tuning in. We will see you next time. Thank you.